Feel free to come to a seated position or laying down on your back, your side, your belly, whatever feels best for you today. The goal is just to get into a comfortable position. I always encourage you at the beginning of our practice, if your body feels like it wants to keep moving. I know sometimes it can be hard to just come into that still place on our mats. So feel free at any time to continue to move. Starting to become aware of how your body's feeling today. Maybe starting with that full body scan from your head all the way to your feet, or from your feet all the way up to your head. Simply checking in with how you're feeling and how you're doing today, both physically and mentally. I invite you to become aware of your breath as well. Just simply noticing maybe where you're feeling the breath today. At this time, you're welcome to close your eyes if that feels good. Know that you can certainly keep your eyes open, but I will keep my eyes open as well, so you're safe. As you start to become more aware of your breath, bringing your intention to that three-part or diaphragmatic breath. So breathing deeply into our belly, inflating our bellies like a balloon, moving the breath up into the chest center, specifically for today, moving the breath up into our heart center. Exhaling from the heart back down to the belly. As you inhale, think about lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, maybe feeling the contact points on the mat, feeling that grounding sensation. As you exhale, letting go of any expectations, letting go of any competition, and letting go of any judgment. Simply focusing on this present moment, remembering that you're in control of your practice and you have the power to choose what feels best for your body today in every pose. Remembering that we can always come back to our rest pose, our favorite rest pose. We can always come back to our contact points on the mat. When you're ready, we'll simply take our hands down by our sides, either in our seated position or on our backs, as we start to add some movement to our breath. Inhaling, reaching our arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hands back down by the sides. So still feeling that length in your spine. Arms can sweep out by the sides or they can reach straight up and overhead, whatever feels best for us today. Stopping, especially at any places that cause us discomfort in our shoulders. Continuing to fill our hearts up. Maybe today, as we move through some heart openers, focusing on our heart chakra, we think about what our heart might need today from our practice. Taking 2 more rounds of breath wherever we are. And then when we're ready, taking on our next exhale, all we're going to do is bring our hands behind our knees, bring our knees into our chest. We can meet on our backs on the mat if we're not there just yet. Slowly rolling it down. Rocking side to side if it feels good, massaging our low back. And then when we're ready, finding that place of stillness. All we're going to do is take our arms out into that T position, shoulder blades on the mat, knees come to our tabletop position, so shins parallel to the floor as we inhale here. Exhaling, slowly dropping the knees over to the right side of the body. You have the option to let the knees fall all the way down if it feels good, or maybe onto your block, or simply hover the knees over the floor. As we inhale, we come back to center. Exhaling, dropping the knees over to the left side. So just continuing that motion here, inhaling, knees come to center, and exhaling, dropping to the right and left side, nice and slowly and gently here with our breath, getting some rotation in our hips and our spine, our low back. As we move through each of our poses today, always being mindful of how it is feeling in our bodies, being mindful of any sensations or feelings or emotions that come up. We'll take one more time on each side here. If it feels really good on one side, remembering that we can always stay in that place of goodness. And then when we're ready, slowly coming back to center, simply taking our feet to the floor in front of us. Hands can come a little bit closer to the body, still maybe wider than our mats. Feet walk to the long edges of the mat. All we're going to do is windshield wipe our knees, dropping them side to side. Checking in with our hip flexors, our internal and external rotators, our core. Just moving side to side, nice and easy here with our breath still. Feeling free to hold once again, one side or the other if it feels good. Taking one more round on each side or one more round of breath. And then when we're ready, we'll bring our knees back to center, bringing the feet in nice and close to the body, right under our knees, close to our hips. Our hands come in to our sides, taking our belly button and pulling it in towards our spine, feeling that little posterior tilt, pelvic tilt in our hips as we engage our core muscles. Inhaling, we press our feet into the floor, lifting our hips to the sky in our bridge pose. Getting some extension in our spine. Exhaling, we come down. Just moving at this pace here, whatever pace feels best for you. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. This is our first heart opener of the day. So maybe checking in with how this feels on our heart, on our bodies. Taking two more rounds of breath here in our bridge flow. We are going to add on to this a little bit more. Coming back onto our mats. As we inhale one last time, we're all going to lift our hips up to the sky together, finding an isometric hold in our bridge here. Option, if you'd like to expand this a little bit more, is to bring your hands underneath your hips, maybe clasping them together, lifting your chest, puffing it up nice and proud, pressing your heart a little bit more to the sky, feeling your shoulder blades squeeze in together. My fingers separate underneath my hips. That's okay, totally. Holding for two more rounds of breath here. Just noticing and checking in on how this feels on our bodies today. On our last exhale, we'll slowly release our hands and let our hips come down to the mat. And then when we're ready, bringing our knees into our chest. Gently rocking side to side, checking in with how our back's feeling. When we're ready, slowly dropping the knees to one side, or we can lift our shoulders, our head, and roll ourselves up to the top of our mat. Flipping to bring our hands to the front, our feet to the back. We're coming into that quadruped position, or all fours, hands and knees, spreading our fingers wide like starfish, pressing into our palms, elbows in and back, little space between our knees as we start to move into our first cow. Starting with our hips, belly to the mat, hips to the sky, lifting our heart, our head, exhaling chin to chest, rounding through the spine into our cat. So I always like to ask myself and check in here with my body, which of these is feeling better for us today? Getting this big, nice flexion in our cat and nice extension in our cow. Moving with your breath here at your own pace. Feeling free to add on anything else or explore any other movements in this pose. Maybe that's moving the hips side to side or the shoulders side to side, feeling a stretch along the side of the body in either our cat or our cow. When we're ready, coming back to our center, our flat back position. From here, pressing into our left hand. As we inhale, the right hand reaches out in front of us. Neutral spine, so eye gaze is to the floor. As we exhale, the right hand comes back in. Inhaling, left hand reaches out in front of us. So starting to feel that shift, the core muscles turn on. Exhale, release. This time, as we inhale, we reach our right hand and our left leg, lengthening through the body. Exhaling, hand and knee back to the mat. Inhale, left leg, left arm, right leg, and exhale, release. Just moving through this at your own pace, feeling free to add on a little bit of lateral movement, hand and arm. As we take the arm and leg away from the body, we can fire up our oblique muscles a little bit more, our muscular slings as well, the muscles from our shoulders to our hips. So feeling free to move side to side, adding on any other option of your bird dog, any variation that might feel good for you today. We'll take one more round on each side. Keeping the arm at shoulder height, leg at hip height. And then when you're ready, coming back to your center. As we inhale, we bring our right fingertips up to our temples in that salute position, opening through the right side of our body. Exhale, right elbow comes across. Getting that nice thoracic spine warm up here. Inhale and exhale. Option here, if we want to, inhaling, right arm can reach all the way up to the sky. Exhaling, left arm can come under. We also have the option to use our block here if that feels better for us. Inhaling and exhaling. Taking one more round of breath here in our thread the needle. And then coming back to center and switching sides. Left fingertips come to the temple. We inhale, open to the left. Exhale, bring the elbow across. Inhaling to open and exhaling to lower. Feeling free to once again add on the arm length. And we can also find our block. So our block just brings us up away from the ground a little, so it's not as big of a bend towards the floor. So taking that option one more round. Coming back to our center when we're ready, all fours, hands and knees. We take our knees to the long edges of the mat, tops of the feet down, sitting our hips towards our heels, finding our first child's pose. Checking in with how our body's feeling in this pose today. Taking any variation that might feel good. So maybe the hands rest on the block, the head can rest on the block, pillow, book, whatever it is. Hands can also come behind us. We can rock our forehead side to side, especially if we're feeling any tension in our sinuses today. We can focus on keeping our head above our heart. I know there's a lot of crud going around. Checking in with how our body's feeling in this pose. Remembering a lot of times, I like child's pose because in life we give so much of ourselves, so much of our own love to others. But in this pose, we can really think about the love that we might need the reminder of, right? To give ourselves, bringing our heart a little closer to our bodies. On your next inhale, we can release our block if we have it there, walking our hands to the front of the mat, shifting our body forward, knees in line with hips. We find that plank position on our knees, elbows in, exhaling little baby yoga push-up, elbows still in by the rib cage. Inhale, we press up, and exhale, we sit back to a child's pose. Inhaling, shifting forward. Exhaling, the next option, if you'd like, is to lower all the way down to the mat. Inhaling, pressing back up to plank. And exhaling, child's pose. The next option is a great heart opener. So once again, our focus, exhaling down to the mat. Tops of the feet come to our mat. Inhale, we squeeze our glutes, shoulder blades, move into our baby cobra. So our feet stay down. That's the key here. Exhaling, child's pose. Go ahead and move through your half series. That's what this is called. Just a few times checking in with which option feels best for our bodies today. One more round of your half series flow. Building that heat in our bodies. And then we'll meet back in child's pose. You're welcome to stay in child's pose at any point in our practice. It is used interchangeably to down dog. But if you'd like to explore downward facing dog, lifting your hips up to the sky, maybe walking your dog, bending your knees right and left. From your child's pose or down dog, we'll simply take our gaze to the top of the mat and walk our feet towards our hands, meeting in our first forward fold of the day. So big flexion in our spine. Hands can come to the blocks, the shins, the thighs. Think softening your knees here. Releasing through your neck. Maybe shaking your head yes and no. Maybe finding ragdoll if that feels good. Releasing your hands back to the floor, shins block. As we inhale, we take a little lift to lengthen our spine. Halfway lift. Exhale, soften and fold. So the goal of forward fold is not to just lock out the knees, but to find a nice release in the low back as well. On your next inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift to the sky. If it feels good, to find extended mountain. Exhale, we sit back into chair pose. Knees in line with toes. Inhaling. Exhaling. Moving into our full sun salutations. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, soften, forward fold. Stepping back to your knees, your toes, finding your plank. Inhaling, remembering your options. Exhaling, if you'd like that chaturanga, a great option for a heart opener is full cobra or even up dog. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Walking your feet back to the top of your mat. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale to lengthen the spine, moving the breath. Exhale to fold. Stepping back to your knees, toes, finding your plank, inhaling, shifting forward, exhaling options, chaturanga or not. You can come up to that cobra, exhale, child's pose or down dog. Inhale, stepping to the top of the mat, exhale, folding. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair pose. Let's move through our sun salutations 2 more times at your own pace. Feeling free to add on anything, any variations. There's a lot of variations to sun salutations. Remembering that we can omit anything that doesn't serve us today. Still moving with our breath here, remembering that we are in control of our breath. We are in control of our flow and our poses. You know, I had to include some Rihanna today, y'all. Rounding out your sun salutations, no rush, just finishing out your last round wherever you are. We will meet in down dog or child's pose to start off our strength series for today. So just making your way there whenever you're ready. Down dog or child's pose, once again, either option. If you are in that child's pose, all we're going to do is bring our right leg to the sky. So down dog or child's pose, single leg or 3-legged dog, or we can bring the right leg high with the left knee down. As we exhale, we sweep that right leg forward and through to find our low lunge. Hands can frame our foot or we can find blocks. As we inhale, coming up to our high lunge, so lowering our left knee, inhaling arms to the sky. Exhale, right hand reaches down, left arm up and over. Excellent. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhaling, folding. From here, we lift our left knee off the mat to find that high lunge on Janiyasana. As we inhale, arms can sweep up to the sky if it feels good. And let's lengthen our right leg, lifting nice and tall. Exhaling, opening our heart for cactus arms. Inhale, we lift. And exhale, we lower. Let's just take this a few rounds at our own pace. Pressing into our right foot, squeezing our shoulder blades together. One more round here. We're going to hold it down in our lunge. From here, our hand position, we have options. We can clasp our hands behind us, grab our forearms, or just reach back, roll the shoulders back, squeezing this right glute here and opening through our heart. So it might look like this. Taking our gaze maybe up to the sky. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, releasing our hands. Inhaling, sweeping them up to the sky. Exhaling, we're opening to warrior 2. So the left heel drops, right knee faces forward, right toes face forward. We can check our hips, opening them to the long side of our mat. And then we can end on any arm or hand variation that feels good for us. Just making sure our right knee is pressing out in line with our toes. From here, flipping both palms to the sky with our arms extended, we inhale, lengthen the right leg, hands reach up together. As we exhale, we pull our arms in, sink down, giving ourselves that butterfly hug. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, sinking. So inhale, we straighten the right leg. Exhale, we sink down. 2 more rounds here. Giving ourselves a little bit of that self-love, right? One more big inhale. Exhale, coming back to our warrior two. Fantastic. From here, we slowly sweep the left arm back to the front, rotate our hips to come into the high lunge. We're slowly releasing our hands back towards the floor in our low lunge. Our left knee is lifted here. We're shifting into our balance pose for the day. So you might want your block towards your right foot. As we bend the right knee, we find our standing split. So a little balance on one leg here. Now you're welcome to stay in your standing split today if you're really wanting to hit that balance and heat. You can also lower your left foot to the mat, shift your hips back to find pyramid pose. So I'm giving both options today. It's up to you if you want the stretch in the hamstring, glute, or if you want the strength. If you're also wanting a little more heat, another option from your standing split, lifting the left hip high, rotating it externally to the left. We come to our Ardha Chandrasana, our half moon pose. So the left arm can lift up to the sky, the gaze can look to the left. Any of those three options, you decide what feels best for your body today. Ooh, balance is different every day, remembering that and knowing that that's okay. One more round of breath wherever we are. Let's all meet with our hips square on the mat in our pyramid pose, shifting our hips back. Hands can come to the block or they can come to the shins. In our pyramid pose, the right leg is lengthened, but the knee is soft. We're hinging from the hip. And then when you're ready, stepping your left foot to meet the right, we find our forward fold. From here, maybe softening the knees, bending them side to side. Taking a few little squats, whatever feels good, resetting your hips. Then we'll step back right and left, coming into our down dog or child's pose. You have the option to move through your half series, or you can stay here in your down dog or child's pose. Moving into our sequence on the other side. Inhaling left leg high for three-legged dog, or we can lower the right knee to the floor. Exhale, pulling the knee forward and through. Everyone here will lower the right knee in our low lunge. Inhaling hips or hands to the sky, squeezing our glutes. Exhaling left hand down, right arm up and over to open through the side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands to the floor or our blocks. Finding our balance, we tuck the toe, lift the right knee, slowly coming up into our high lunge. Inhaling, we float the arms, lengthen the left leg. Exhale, cactus arms, opening through the heart center. Inhale to lift. Exhale, squeeze. Pressing into our left foot. Just moving at our own pace here. Softening our right knee as we sink down, feeling that nice hip flexor stretch. Taking one more round here, we're holding this pose in the bottom, rolling our shoulders back. We can stay right here, or we can take our hands, clasp them, forearms, clasp them, rolling the shoulders back, or simply just pressing back. The key here, shoulders back, heart to the sky, gaze to the sky here. Maybe imagining a green light shining out from our heart center. That is our anahata. As we inhale, slowly releasing the hands. Exhaling, rolling the shoulders. Inhale, arms sweep to the sky. And then exhale, we open to find our warrior three. Left foot faces the front, right foot is on an angle. Just checking our hips are happy. Opening through the long side of the mat, coming into our hand gesture position, whatever feels best. Squeezing our glutes and pressing into our feet. When we're ready, we grow our arms out to our sides, flip our palms to the sky. Inhale, lengthen the left leg, arms lift. Exhale, bringing our hands into that butterfly hug. Feeling safe, feeling comforted, maybe even offering the affirmation of I am loved in this pose. Taking one more round of this. We'll exhale, coming back to our warrior two. From here, rotating our right hip back to the front, right toes. Arms can reach up to the sky if it feels good. We inhale, exhale, sweeping the hands to the floor of the blocks, finding our balance in our left foot this time. We shift the body forward, finding that standing split. Remembering our other option, we can step the right foot down, shift the hips back to find our pyramid pose. Whatever feels best for us today. And then if we're wanting that heat on the other side, we can lift the right hip up. It's almost like a hip airplane, opening through the right side of the body, reaching the left or right arm up to the sky. We think about stacking our hips in our Ardha Chandrasana here if it feels good. Bracing through our core in either of our balance poses. Holding for 2 more rounds of breath. As we exhale, coming to our pyramid pose. So squaring our hips on the mat, wherever we are. On your next exhale, we'll step the right foot to meet the left, finding a forward fold. We can once again take our hip release, our little squats, whatever feels best. When we're ready, we'll step back to find our down dog or child's pose. And then moving through our half series if we'd like to here, or meeting in our down dog or child's pose. When we're ready, we're all going to meet in child's pose. So slowly letting your hips sit towards your heels. Gathering your breath here. When you're ready, we'll slowly walk our hands towards our body, lifting our chest. We're going to move into camel pose, a big heart opener. I like my block here. So if you have a pillow or something you can squeeze, that's a great option. We're going to come up onto our knees. So also, if it feels good for you, is to fold your mat. Taking your feet to the mat, your toes to the mat. So from the side, it looks like this versus this. You can always change it, but starting off here. Activating our core muscles and our pelvic floor. We inhale, reach our arms up to the sky, making a fist with our right hand, taking it to our low back and releasing the left hand. We roll our shoulders back, squeezing through our glutes here and opening up through our heart center. So shoulders reach back, keeping a little bit of space between the chin and the chest. Maybe eye gaze looks a little higher to the sky. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, we slowly come back up, releasing our hands. We can release our block if we have it. And we'll just slowly sit back to find a child's pose, which is a great counter stretch for all of that extension in our spine. Maybe noticing some feelings, sensations. When you're ready, walking your hands to your body, we can straighten out our mats. From here, shifting to a seated position, we've got two more poses to open up through our heart. Taking our right foot to the corner of our mat, our left foot comes to our inner thigh or knee, or above or below our knee. Sitting up nice and tall, let's inhale our arms up to the sky, rotating towards our right foot, flexing that foot, exhaling. We find a fold. So a hamstring stretch through this foot. I like to soften my knee here. Also thinking about our left sit bone, pressing it into the mat. From here, right hand presses down to the earth or a block beside our right foot, and we slowly rotate, reaching our left arm up and over for this deep side bend stretch. Left shoulder stacked over the right. Breathing into this pose here, taking one more big inhale. Let's lengthen the spine, reaching, coming back to center. Exhale, left hand comes down, right arm reaches up and over. We rotate or flex to the side. Option if we'd like to come up into wild thing, which is a really beautiful heart opener. Opening up through our hips. When we're ready, slowly coming back down. Releasing the right hand, other side. Left foot comes out in front, right foot comes in. Sitting up nice and tall, we inhale, rotating towards that foot, flexing. Exhaling, finding a fold. Remembering we can soften this knee as much as it feels good for us. The hands can rest on the shin, the thigh, the ankle. As we curl the toes into the body, we can find a little deeper hamstring release on this side. When we're ready, left hand comes to the floor beside the left foot. It can also rest on a block. As we turn our shoulder, pressing the left shoulder forward, the right hand, right arm reaches up and over. With each exhale, sinking a little deeper, making sure our right sit bone stays pressing down into the mat. As we inhale, coming back to center. Exhaling, left hand reaches up to the sky. If we want to, we can press into our right hand, lift our hips up to our wild thing. Really opening through our heart center here. When we're ready, slowly coming back down. Releasing. From here, we'll keep the left leg out in front of us. Right knee comes in as we slowly lower ourselves down onto our mats. From here, keeping the right knee into the chest, rolling out the ankle, maybe checking in with how the hip's feeling. Taking that internal, external rotation. And then when you're ready, we'll switch. Left knee comes in, right leg goes out. Just checking in one last time with how our hips are feeling here. When you're ready, bringing both knees into your chest, grabbing on your hamstring, rocking side to side. Taking any last and final poses here before we move into our final relaxation. I will offer one pose, restorative pose, as an option for final relaxation. If you're wanting to end in a position that really opens the heart, you can take your block or a rolled up mat or a pillow, place it underneath the upper back. So it's called restorative fish. Also show a side view of it as well. I think it's better experienced with a smaller block. So if you have one of these really thick ones or your pillow or something is really thick, I think it's better with a thinner blocker item, but you're placing it right between the shoulder blades, letting that heart expand and open. The knees can be bent or the legs can be straight. I'll show the view from the side too if you want to try out this restorative fish. I like it with my knees bent. Finding that comfortable position where you want to end your practice today. And taking these last few minutes to whatever it is that you need. Maybe checking in with how your heart's feeling. How your heart's feeling. I'm gonna read to y'all a little self-love affirmation. So just becoming aware of your breath, maybe finding that nice 3-part breath. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. I now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being, and radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I love myself. Therefore, I take lovingly care of my body. I lovingly feed it nourishing foods and beverages. I lovingly groom it and dress it, and my body lovingly responds to me with vibrant health and energy. I love myself. Therefore, provide for myself a comfortable home, one that fills all my needs and is a pleasure to be in. I fill the room with the vibration of love so that all who enter, myself included, will feel this love and be nourished by it. I love myself. Therefore, I work at a job I truly enjoy doing, one that uses my creative talents and abilities, working with and for people I love and who love me. I love myself. Therefore, I behave and think in a loving way to all people, for I know that which what I give out returns to me multiplied. I only attract loving people in my world, for they are a mirror of what I am. I love myself. Therefore, I forgive and totally release the past and all past experiences, and I am free. I love myself. Therefore, I live totally in the now, experiencing each moment as good and knowing that my future is bright, joyous, and secure. For I am a beloved child of the universe, and the universe lovingly takes care of me. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing some awareness back into your body and your space. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to roll over onto your favorite side, maybe bringing your knees into your chest, using your arm as a pillow. And then you're welcome to slowly press yourself back up to find a seated position that is comfortable for you today. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll take one more collective breath together. As we inhale, we lengthen our spine, gathering all that love and positive energy, bringing it into our heart center. And from this position, our Anjali Mudra, gently pressing our thumbs onto our heart center, right next to our heart, where our sternum is. We end our practice by saying something that simply means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste. Thank y'all for practicing with me today. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and week, and I will see you next time.